it doesn't seem as much on my
as
computer.
bad looking at it, but
But
you
on
know
my
it's
phone,
gonna
I
be
was just
bad.
like, oh. I was like, him was not happy.
No. No, I was not. And you all are about to find out why. Welcome back. We're a little bit delayed, but that's okay. This is our bonus episode. We are going over USMNT and how this past international break has been for the team. Hence me not being happy. But that's besides the point. So we're gonna dive into both the friendlies, kind of giving a little overview of what happened during both of them. And then I also have the game stats, the improvements I would like to see, along with my final thoughts of the game. And Julie's just kind of here to provide comedic relief because I'm definitely gonna be crashing out, and Julie is the balance to that. So
That is my goal in life, is to be a comedic relief, and I usually am. Y'all don't want me anywhere near sad, stressful, sane, because I have trauma.
She's not wrong. And then we are going to end the episode with looking ahead towards World Cup 2026, because we are now, I think we're at 68 days away from opening kickoff. So, oh boy, we got a long road ahead of us. Yeah, I'm just gonna crash out the entire time. It's not gonna be good. Okay, so we will start off with the USA Belgium game. So our starting 11, we had Matt Turner in goal, Mark McKenzie and Tim Ream as our center backs, because Chris Richards was out injured. They didn't want to risk him. And then our wingbacks were Jedi and Tim Weah. Our mids were Johnny, Tanner Tessman, and Malik Tillman. And then we had West and CP on the wings, and Ballo was our striker. So the formation that we played literally looked like a 2-5-3. For those of you who are not very knowledgeable, why would we want to play with only 2 defenders? It makes no sense, and we were definitely exposed at the back multiple times. So I'm really frustrated about that, but I'm not going to speak too much into that because I'll address that issue in a couple of minutes. Anyways, the opening 15 minutes, I thought we looked good. We just couldn't capitalize on any big chances. Jedi had a shot right outside the box. It was well hit on his weaker foot. Unfortunately, we couldn't capitalize on that. And then we had a corner that fell to Weston McKennie, and he was point blank, and somehow the keeper managed to save it. I'm just regretting it because we could have been up 1-0 inside the opening 15 minutes. And I think that would have changed the game. But, what do I know? So then, nothing really happens for the next 15 minutes. At 30-minute mark, well, between the 15 and 30 minutes, we were able to have some breakaways, but we were just not clinical in finishing yet again, to no one's surprise. We had a couple shots, but it just wasn't gonna go anywhere for us. So then in the 36th minute, it looked like Belgium had broken the deadlock and they had the first goal. However, we got lucky because they called a handball on the goal. So that flipped it, and we got a kick out of that instead. And then 2 minutes later, the response I want to see is Weston McKennie scoring off of a corner. And this is the one that Julie loved to pieces because she was just texting me about it. She's like, oh my gosh, this looked so good. It was so smooth. And I was like, you're not wrong.
I loved it. I was like eating it up. I was like, T. That's my favorite so far.
And to be fair, it was a really great goal. He lost his mark and he was just wide open, and it's too bad he couldn't have done that the first time because then we would have been up 2-0 in the first half. But anyways, so we are winning 1-0. And then the 44th minute, Belgium come back and they score. Again, not a defensive close down. And on this particular goal, our striker was so far back that they were playing on the top of our defensive box. And I just want to know who thought that was a good idea. That's our striker, who should be up on the midway line.
This game made me scream at my screen. I haven't done that.
So the score is 1-1. And then we had stoppage time. So we are at the 48th minute, but it's really 45 plus 3. We had Belgium shooting, not scoring, unfortunately, but it looked like it was going to go in. Again, still no defensive shutdown. I have no idea what the defensive duties were there, but it just not great. Not great at all. So then we get to halftime. Halftime, we sub Johnny Cardoso off, which does not make sense in my mind because he's a really good midfielder. So why are we subbing him off? And we put an MLSer on the field. Why would we not keep Johnny, who plays in the top 5 leagues, arguably one of the best, and he starts for that team? Why do we not keep playing him? But anyways, we put Christian Roldan onto the field, right? So the score is still 1-1. The 52nd minute. So 7 minutes later, Belgium score again. Not a great defensive look to begin with. Everyone was sucked into the middle of the field, leaving the top of the box wide open because everyone was on the 6-yard box, and the top of the box, the 18, was wide open. And we had an attacking midfielder close down the ball. Again, for those of you who aren't very familiar with that, our attacking mid should not necessarily be defending that ball. And on that, the attacking mid decided not to slide. And this was a point of speaking during the game. They were like, well, why didn't he slide tackle that to force another touch? Well, he's an attacking midfielder. He's not going to go to ground. So, yeah. But initially, it was terrible defending by the guy that we just put on the field. So, he's the one that caused the turnover. Anyways, 3 minutes later, so now we're in the 55th minute. The long switch left wide open on the left side of the field. Tim Weah's side, and I'm not picking on Tim, but it was our right side. And it was just a huge defensive breakdown because everyone was pushing high up the field. This ends with 2 huge saves for Matt Turner. However, it gets called for a handball on Tim Ream. The controversy here is if it touched his arm or if it didn't touch his arm, because the video angle was inconclusive. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of okay that they called handball on it. Because at this point, I'm like, great. I don't know what else to say. Like, I'd love to see another save from Matt Turner add to his penalty saves, but I was like, there's clearly not going to be enough evidence for them to overturn it. So there's no point. So VAR agrees with the call on the field. This results in a penalty for Belgium, which was converted. And now Belgium leads 3-1. So again, this is not even 15 minutes after we subbed on the MLS player. Now, to the 67th minute, we had another Belgium goal, forcing yet another defensive breakdown on our end. And I don't know what's his face, I don't know what's his name, but the guy who came on for a Jedi did not close down the ball at all. He didn't even look like he knew what he was doing to defend the ball. He looked
lost.
even hesitant. He did. He looked hesitant to even come down and get close to the player and press him and try and force a mistake. He just kept backing off. He gave him so much room to try and figure out what he wanted to do. And guess what? This ends up in a goal. A goal. So now we're done. Now we're down 4-1 on Belgium. And this is 27 minutes after halftime. 27 minutes, which is ridiculous. But then the 81st minute. Oh, look, it's the same guy. A defensive breakdown again on the initial ball in for Portugal. And then no one wants to go. Oh, wait, this is Belgium. They're playing Belgium. I just said Portugal. Oh my gosh.
Guys, you know what she's referring to. You were right.
But anyways, defensive breakdown yet again for what's his face, and Belgium just they just have one guy. We have 3 players around him. He shoots the ball, we save it, and then our midfield, Sebastian Berhalter, another MLS player, goes and makes a complete mess out of it. And he fumbles it, and he doesn't even try to clear the ball. He takes the touch gets away from him, and then the Belgium guy comes, shoots, scores, that's a goal. Like,
if you haven't noticed, guys, there's a pattern here.
So then,
A very
yeah, you're telling me. Another big save for Matt Turner then a couple minutes later, and then the 86th minute we finally have something good to talk about. Ricardo Pepi forces a defensive mistake from, I don't know, maybe pressuring the ball, which we didn't seem to do all match. So anyways, it falls into Patrick Edgeman's path, and we score. The score is now 5-2. And then in the 90th plus 4, so stoppage time, Aji then goes for a bicycle kick, which was very ambitious, and he puts it over, so that's not shocking, but we got some offense going. Only after we subbed Gio on, but what? Anyways. So, our final game stats for each team. So, US, 11 shots total, 4 shots on target. Belgium had 18 shots, 11 on target. They had 47% of possession, which you know what that means. The US had 53% of possession and we couldn't do jack squat with it. And both teams had 6 corners. So, my improvements that I would have liked to see for the next game. I don't know, how about some better defensive shape? Just a thought. I mean, surely it doesn't help to play a 39-year-old as your center back. But what do I know? Um, what else? Maybe converting our shots on goal? Again, 11 shots? 4 of which are on target? Running better set pieces? Again, 6 corners and we converted on 1 of them. We should have converted on 2 of them. Not just kicking the ball forward without any purpose. Again, the 53% of possession says we should try and play the possession game. Oh, which is my next point. Let's string together some passes and get more possession because it works when we play that way.
Yeah.
And my last thing, maybe, if we really wanted to go for the win, we would bring on decent subs. Who would have thought,
Would have been me.
My final thoughts to wrap up this first game. To me, it didn't seem like we were trying to win at all in the second half of the game. Subbing Johnny off at the half did not help. And then by the 60th minute, we're down 3-1. And then we go to sub on 2 more MLS players, and then we're down 4-1, not even 10 minutes later. So,
Literally.
and then the last note, don't even get me started on the jerseys, because that was ridiculous.
That was so bad. And like I was the whole time I already struggle with seeing. I'm like, I don't know who has the ball anymore. Like, and I doubt they did either. Half the time they were probably like, wait, you're not one of ours. Oh no. Like,
Yeah, you're only gonna see if they're running at you, because the real differential thing is the front of the shirt.
Yeah. And so if you're staring at the back of them, you're screwed, really. Either way, you're screwed. And I felt like that was, I mean, there was a lot of plot holes. Let's be real here. We're open wide half the time. But, the jerseys didn't help. Just saying. Like, one of us could have just worn one of our other jerseys. Wasn't someone not even supposed to be wearing their jersey? Or why is their away jersey white? Or I don't know. Whose was it?
It's actually a very light mint green.
Okay. My walls are a light mint green and they're white, so.
Yeah, I know. Someone clearly didn't get that approved correctly.
I forget. You were there when we picked out my wall color.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure you were there. So I don't think it matters. You can't put a label on what looks white. I'm just saying it looks white. If you're gonna make it green, make it like, I don't know, Easter green?
Don't I know it?
I don't know.
And Belgium's flag isn't even green, so.
In my opinion, I thought it
makes sense.
It was more pink than green. For like,
yeah, they're both very light pink and mint green.
Okay, so. Okay.
Yeah, I know, it doesn't make sense. That leads us, speaking of green and pink, that leads us to US versus Portugal. I just don't even know where to start here. Our starting 11, we had Matt Freeze, Aaron Trusty, Alex Freeman, Chris Richards as our defenders. We had Jedi and Tim again on the wings. We had Malik Tillman, Sebastian Berhalter, and Aiden Morris as our mids. And then we had Weston McKinney and Christian Pulisic as our forwards. So the formation was a 3-5-2. And we weren't playing with a true striker. So, why are we playing with a false 9 here? It does not work. It's never worked in the past when we've played with a false 9. And I'm just not sold on this stupid 5 mids. I don't think that works because you have the 2 wing backs that just don't. It just does not work. It doesn't work. Anyways, we'll get to that in a little bit. So I watched the game. So these notes are directly from the game because I remembered to take notes during the game, so they're not from highlights. Unlike the last game.
Said notes.
Yeah, Julie can attest to it because I was doing it as I was watching, and I was like, Julie, can you tell how mad I am?
I was like, yes.
So again, the opening 15 minutes, I thought we looked strong, but again, can't convert. So the 33rd minute, we have a set piece from a foul on Weston McKinney. The initial shot does not go well, but Christian was on the follow-up. We were not able to convert. We have the 36th minute, which is a counterattack that Portugal did after we were caught a little bit in possession, which resulted in a goal for Portugal. Again, we were caught with 2 at the back, seeing as one of our defenders was playing up in front of our mids. So that's not great. So now we're down 1-0. In the 40th minute, we had Jedi. He had a shot, not off by much. Still not converting. The 43rd minute, we had a corner, ended with a shot from Malik Tillman. Still not a goal. So then we get to halftime. We sub off Weston McKinney, Christian Pulisic, and Jedi. And then we put on our MLS guys again, plus Tanner Tessman. And we moved Malik Tillman to striker. What were we thinking here? I get he's an attacking mid, but he's not a striker. Come on, guys.
Absolutely.
So the 53rd minute, a back pass that was picked up by Portugal. However, it wasn't called a foul because they're not allowed to kick the ball the way that they did, and the announcers were going nuts over it, and they even had the rules analyst come on and was like, no, that should definitely be called and they should be given a penalty because goalies aren't allowed to pick up the ball off of a back pass. So that's great. So that was a no call. And then the 55th minute, again, bad defense from what's-his-face, more defensive confusion, and Portugal end up missing the shot, so thank our lucky stars. And then literally a minute later, Sebastian Berhalter misplays the ball again, turning over possession. This causes a tackle and recovery from Alex Freeman to prevent the breakaway, literally not even a minute later. So the 58th minute, Portugal has a corner. And guess what happens? Yet another defensive breakdown. And this results in a goal from João Felix. And you know what? Had someone been there and marked it, that wouldn't have been a goal. But not only did he take 1 touch, he took 2. He was able to settle the ball and then take the touch to shoot. I'm like, guys, you're supposed to be marking. They had 2 people on the top of the box, and neither one of them was marked. Like, what are we doing here, guys?
Clearly nothing.
So again, taking off our European guys results in a goal inside the first 15 minutes of the half again. Anyways, 63rd minute. I believe this is the shot from Nuno Mendes. Huge, absolutely huge save from Freeze after a long distance hit. The 66th minute, we got more subs. We sub off Tim Weah and Malik Tillman, and we finally got a striker on the field, Florian Balogun and Joe Scally. So actually we have another striker on the field at this point. Flo is the second one to get on the field. 69th minute, ironically. So the announcers are going on about how there's a lot of positives to take away from this international break. And I just want to say, are we watching the same games? Really?
What's been positive so far? No hate to anyone, but where's the positives? All I see is negatives.
The only positive I see is Weston McKennie locking down his spot.
The only positives I see are the negatives. I'm very positive about the negatives. I'm very positive there was a wide gap at one point. Just saying. I'm positive maybe we might win a game.
Maybe. So I just want to know, are we watching the same thing?
I don't think so. I don't.
We are. The 77th minute, we had a nice run by Patrick Edgeman again down the line. He was able to get it into the middle of the box, or maybe it was the top of the box. I don't really know. But Balogun was unable to convert that. Didn't miss by much though. But again, we got to be more clinical about our finishing. So the next minute, oh gosh. We sub off Sebastian Berhalter, Alex Freeman, and Aiden Morris for Brendan Aronson, Gio Reyna, and the one guy I don't want to talk about from the Belgium game. Anyways, so the 80th minute. What's his face? Yeah, what's his face? Passed across the goal. So rather than kicking it wide like you're supposed to do, like they teach you in U10 soccer, he passed it back to the middle across the goal. Why? Why did you do that? So, I had a panic attack there. And then, a minute later, the guy I don't want to talk about did one of the worst fouls. Well, maybe not one of the worst fouls, but it was bad for this game that I've seen. And I was like, why did you do that? Why did you even go for that ball? Like that, it's terrible. Anyways, the 83rd minute. This guy, once again, misplays the pass. And he doesn't even go for the ball, and he just hesitates the entire time. It's like, well, why are you on the field then? If you're going to hesitate to go for the ball, you need to go to the ball to close down the gap to begin with. Why are you not doing that? You're the mid. That's what that's the whole point of your position is to advance the ball.
think they just told him to go on the field and kick it, but I don't think they told him how or when or when's the right time. He's just like, it's my turn. No one can stop me.
Clearly not. Clearly not. But 5 minutes later, the 88th minute. So Aaron Trusty had a great recovery off of probably one of the idiot's terrible passes to turn over the ball. But during his recovery tackle, he cramped up, so we had to sub him off, which was unfortunate because he had a great game up until this point. And then the 90th minute, Portugal had another corner, and guess what? The back post. Completely unmarked again. What's with the bad defensive plays? These two games. Like, this is ridiculous. And so we play out the ball, and then we have possession and we turn it over yet again. And Portugal go on a counterattack, but Matt Freese is able to make one of the biggest saves of the night, a fingertip save to prevent the counterattack from being successful. And that's the end of the game. So the USMNT lose 2-0. But it's not 5-2, so that's not terrible. Portugal was ranked 6th. We're 16th. So that's better. However, the stats kind of give away my thinking here. So, Portugal had 12 shots, 4 of those on target. US, 4 shots on target, but 13 shots total. So we had more shots than Portugal did. Make it make sense. The percent of possession, completely different. 39%, 61%. Guess who had more possession? Not us. Not us. We also had 12 fouls compared to Portugal's 2, and we had 2 corners, whereas Portugal had 8. So, my improvements for the next game? I'm not doing it. I can't be bothered. I'm not doing it.
Whatever we said for the last game, I think still stands. In a way. I don't know, man.
Anyways, my final thoughts on the US-Portugal game. To me, Alex Freeman and Aaron Trusty really solidified themselves. If they don't make the World Cup roster, I'm gonna lose it. 63 minutes into this game, I thought 3 people in particular looked sluggish to me and tired, which was Aidan Morris, who plays in England, but not the Premier League, Sebastian Berhalter, MLS, and Malik Tillman, who plays for Leverkusen. So I was like, why are we not putting Brendan Aronson on yet? But whatever. Also, if only we could get a bit more possession during the game. I'm starting to feel like we're not playing as a possession-based team, and unfortunately, I have to say this is one of the things that I liked about He Who Shall Not Be Named system, was that we played more possession-based, and we have gotten away from that, and that annoys me to high heavens. So could this be part of the problem for what the team is currently facing? To my point about Brendan Aronson, he only got 12 minutes of playing throughout this entire camp, which to me is outrageous because he's been with the team for multiple years, and we're only giving him 12 minutes to play? Especially because we have the ability to sub 11 people per each game, and we're not even using all 11 subs. Like, to me, that's outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Some big winners from this camp. Jonas Musa, who plays at Atalanta, and Tyler Adams, who plays for Bournemouth. I think that they win big in making their respective cases for making the World Cup roster. Both of them at midfield, and I think that's part of the reason why his system worked so well, was because we had two really good midfielders who knew how to move the ball and how to defend the ball well, along with dribbling. Musa's one of our best dribblers, so why do we not include him in the squad? Anyways, my last thing, I promise, before looking ahead. These MLS guys just cannot keep up, and at this point, we have no excuse to not bring all of our top guys that are playing in Europe. And let me just tell you, if more than 3 MLS players make this USMNT roster, I'm actually gonna lose it. Specifically, the guy I don't want to talk about from the Belgium game, Tim Ream, and what's his face, because I just can't do it with them. They're all trash. Like, Ream is not trash. He's just too old. He can't keep up. And we saw that multiple times during the game that he played. Could not keep up at all. So why are we keeping an almost 40-year-old around? The team is youthful. Let's take from our youth. Anyways. So. Yeah. So, we're gonna put that all behind us in the past now. We can ignore it for the most part. But the official roster announcement for the World Cup will be released May 26th. They are selecting 26 players. So we'll have to see who makes the cut and who doesn't make the cut. And if I'm some of these names that I have, I would be worried. But there are some locked that I think are gonna be fine. But still not sold on the formation. Anyways, so you might be asking, well, who would you bring to the World Cup? Well, you got a special treat, because boy, do I have my dream roster picked out. So at goalkeeper, I would take Matt Freese, Matt Turner, and Patrick Schulte. That's 3 goalkeepers. We really could probably get away with only bringing 2, but I always bring 3 just in case. And then we have our defenders, which there's 8. So Chris Richards, I think he's a lock. Aaron Trusty, Alex Freeman, Jedi Robinson, Serginho Dest, Noah Kai Banks, Mark McKenzie, and Joe Scally. Now, I feel like some of those might be hot takes, but you're just gonna have to live with me, because I would pick Noah Kai Banks regardless if he chooses Germany or not. That is up for grabs, but I would just name him to my squad anyways, because we need good players. And he just so happens to be one of them.
Yeah.
Our midfielders. I'm bringing 10 midfielders. So, Weston McKennie, a lock. Tyler Adams, I think, is another lock. Tim Weah as a mid, lock. Tanner Tessman is also probably a lock. I'm also bringing Johnny Cardosa. I know that this has been a hot topic, but I'm definitely bringing him. Jonas Musa, Malik Tillman, Gio Reyno, Brendan Aronson, and either Aiden Morris or Jack Micklin. I don't know much about either one of those two, so that would.
We'll 50-50.
Yeah. And then we have our 5 forwards. So, I'm bringing Florian Balogun, Ricardo Pepi, Haji Wright, Christian Pulisic, and Patrick Agyemang. So, those are my 26 players that I would personally bring. I would also play a 4-back, a CDM, which is your center defensive mid, 2 attacking mids, and then 3 offensive players. So our left wing, our striker, and our right wing. And I think that system would allow for us to play better. But hey, what do I know?
I think it's great.
Thanks.
Let us know in the comments what you would choose. Maybe yours is better than ours. I don't know. I'm really kind of nervous about that. May is gonna be a very eventful month, that's for sure. It's gonna be great. I hope you guys liked M's breakdown and the best I could do with my comedic relief. Check out our links in the description below for our other social media pages. We have a lot happening this month and next month and the month after that, so if you don't want to miss it, again, follow us, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications, because again, you don't want to miss our videos. They're great. But yeah, there should be a live stream sometime this month. Yes, there is one sometime this month for football. So if you want to keep a lookout for that one, again, post notification. There's a gnat on my computer.